Episode 3 Spy on the Walls. The next night, the mother's child was all snuggled under the bed covers, and eager eyes told her that more of the story was expected. She sat down on the bed to tell the next part. "Where did I leave off?" she asked. "Oh yes, with Golgothicus and his newfound power." "You were going to tell me about Arky the Arch," the child interrupted. "Yes," she replied, "but there is more story yet to tell. Arky and his friends become mixed up with some powerful inanimati, but to understand them you must be patient, all right?" The child nodded, not wanting to miss any of the story, and she took up the tale where she'd left off. While Golgothicus was learning to weld bricks out of the mud of that crater and teach them to form impenetrable walls in the blink of an eye, the world of inanimati continued without notice, and far away from this troublesome land, the triumphal arches of the Arky Romani stood fast against the ravages of time. All inanimati move and breathe in the atmosphere of chronostic flux that penetrates the galaxy like the waters of an invisible ocean surround a sunken city. When the tides of chronostic flux ebb and flow, the coordinates of space and the regularity of the clock move with it. And it is possible for the inanimati who have trained as chrono-arts masters to travel through all times and spaces if they so desire. For archers, this ability to shape their presence in the chronostic flux is endowed to those who have achieved the highest level of Master Arch. The triumphal arches work as symbolic strongholds in both the worlds of man and those of the inanimati. They tower above the daily hum of life on their massive pillars of stone, the symmetry of their designs symbolizing their work as Janus-like portals to those who they can guide through time and space. Each Master Triumphal Arch is entrusted with one of the coordinate nodes of the ocean of chronostic flux. If the time flow is not guided and channeled by their presence, the walls of perception may fall, and the delicate human and animal world of animati become mixed with that of the inanimati. Chaos and destruction for all species would entail. Like their friends and associates, the serpentine aquedotti and the squat pendentive domes, the triumphal arches lead purposeful existences in the service of both man and inanimati, straddling the crossroads of perception between worlds and bringing a sense of security and stability to all who wonder at their marvelous grandeur. Massive and impervious they may be, but when called upon to act, these master archers can transport themselves into other times and places with sheer concentration. All inanimati work together in the harmony of shared purpose. This is how they compensate for not having hands to grasp and make with. Master Arch Trajan is one of two particularly beautiful triumphal arches, standing for centuries at the side of the forum. His twin brother Titus serves at a similar post across the busy city. Trajan had heard of the uprising in the far north and rumors that the Gothic archers sought to unlock the gate between worlds of Ani and inanimati. Voices spoke of a new sort of enemy, muri made of hordes of fanatical bricks. He'd hoped it was a problem that would remain remote in time and space, but he also was aware that no problem was ever kept at bay by wishful thinking. Trajan had come across many inanimati materials in his time, and was an expert in the various types of workstones, but never had he known the common brick to be turned to evil. Wild rumors were flying. Some said even a peaceful cornerstone that had lain dormant for years could be roused to uncontrolled aggression by one glance from the eye of the Gothics. Trajan thought of the secret mission he had proposed to the High Council of Grand Master Archers. He had hoped to go quietly alone to find the Gothic leader and confront him with the danger that lay in tampering with the peaceful divide between the worlds of plants, animals, and inanimati. Trajan knew it was not the way the elders of the council preferred, but had argued that with stealth and speed he could reach the Gothic camp while they were still far away and find their leader secretly without raising the alarm. But the council had not followed his plan. The large triple-barreled Grand High Arcus Septimus Severus had instead ruled that calling up the military was the best approach. The old and lumbering Colosseo Maximus had equipped with 12 legion of the finest Arky Romani and sent off to march north and confront the troublemaker head-on. The impressive sight of rank upon rank of round archers should be enough to cower the flimsy Gothics and their rabble of rubble, Septimus reasoned. Trajan was not so sure. Colosseo Maximus had now been gone too long without word, and other disturbances in the peaceful flux of time and space were beginning to make themselves felt. Trouble seemed to be all about him. A dome had collapsed unexpectedly in a small shrine in the west, seriously injuring some Mechanisti visitors. The news of another High Council meeting for all Master Archers was in itself a disturbing sign. He was sure it had to do with the recent disappearance of a large number of Corinthian columns who had been on a pilgrimage. Just imagining their fate as prisoners of the Gothics. "Psst, Trajan, you're looking the wrong way, big boy," a smoky female voice called to him from the darkness of a corner, jolting him back into awareness of the here and the now. It was Squinch, the curvy Byzantine niche he seemed to run into at the oddest of times. Squinch was a type of ubiquity, those features able to hang unnoticed for centuries, hiding silently between vaults and walls. So quiet and innocuous were these ubiquity that they acted as the eyes and ears of the Master Archers, reporting what they had seen, a network of spies throughout the city. "So, Master Trajan, preparing to go off to the council meeting?" "How did you know that, Squinch? I have just learned of the meeting myself." Trajan was aware of how useful the ubiquity were, but he also was a bit suspicious of the ease at which they acquired information, particularly when it concerned himself. "I don't anchor the roof of the gods just for the view, you know. I get around in my own way. To be a true ubiquity is to be everywhere, or at least to seem to." The triumphal arch was silent. Squinch shrugged, causing some plaster dust to fall. "No matter where I come by my information, Master Trajan. The issue is what new knowledge you yourself bring to the meeting, and to that end I have something to offer you." "Really?" said the Master Arch, lifting a cornice so he might better perceive the shadowy feature. "What knowledge might that be?" "That the Gothics and their Muri are but 4 days' march from here, and that Heidentor, the Master Arch at Carnuntum, and Janum of Saint-Remy are the only ones of your kind that stand in their way." "Great pillars of Hercules!" exclaimed Trajan. "This cannot be! And what of Colosseum Maximus and the legions of Arky Romani?" From the dark corner where Squinch crouched, there came a small sigh of sadness. "Of their fate no one has heard," she said. "But it is rumored that the Gothics are carrying 100 Romani keystones before them to terrify anyone who would resist their might." Trajan was stunned. If such a mighty show of force as the legions of Arky Romani could be defeated, what hope lay in the efforts of the council? "But there is more," whispered Squinch. "The leader of the Gothics is trying to find something that came down from the skies. He has sent gargoyle scouts out looking for it to all corners of the globe." "And what is it that he is looking for?" asked Trajan. "Could this be something of value to bargain with? Only, that is, if they found it first," he realized. "I am not sure. Something called a voodoo cannibal robot. Do you know what that is?" "And do you know what that is?" the mother asked her child. "No," came the reply in a quiet voice. "Do you?" "We will discover that together with the help of Arky and his friends," she answered. "But don't worry. Arky can make everyone his friend if they just give him a chance. Good night." And she turned out the light on the figure under the covers who was already beginning a wonderful dream.